Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. But that's only 3 languages. Should we go through them all? Yeah? Okay. So what I want you to do when I get to your language, I want you all from that country to shout out your country's name, right? Can you do that for me? Okay, so we start. Willkommen. Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Yeah. Welcome. I have another one for you guys. Welkom. Netherlands, Belgium? Ja. Välkommen. Velkommen. Er nordmenn ikke kommet? Okay, so we're missing Norwegians. They might be late on a bus. Velkommen. Bienvenidos. Fulcher. Skålen. G'day. Australia. Vidajcie. Yay. Powitanie. Okay, so Stanislav hasn't arrived yet from Poland. We have one from Poland. Yeah? All right. No, but all right. Okay, so we have Vidajcie and we have Powitanie. All right, excellent. I may completely miss them up. Bem-vindo. Ah! And this one, I know that's not strictly speaking correct, but tervetuloa. Yay! And because we're in Denmark, I'll welcome you also in Faroese and Greenlandic. So, velkommen. That's Faroese, and then tikkiluarit, and that's Greenlandic Inuit. So, it's so great to see you, and it's great to see this room being filled up. It's been, and we've been waiting for this moment for 5 long, dry years, although in this country, wet years. Since the last summit that we had, the very last one that we had anywhere in the world was in 2019 in Australia. And we had one in Canmore, we had one in Barcelona, but then we were supposed to go to Norway in 2020. And do you remember what happened in 2020? Couldn't do anything. So then we thought, okay, we'll do it in Norway in 2021, but then what happened in 2021 again? And then we just never got around to it, but we always dreamt of getting back together and being, seeing each other. And we've never had so many wonderful people gathered. I think it's fair to say that we've all been blown away by the sheer interest of this. We have over 148 people. Over 148, either it's 148 or 149. But 148 people over 3 days and 19 different countries. That's pretty good, isn't it? Let's get this one. So, these are the flags of all the... When I first asked the community 8 months ago if there would be an interest in a summit, the answer was an overwhelming yes, which led us to believe in it and take on that challenge of organizing a summit. And it is truly a huge effort. It's joint, and we wanted this to be a joint effort. So when you all signed up for the event, you were asked what your expectations were and how you would like to contribute. And that is why I can proudly say that over the next 3 days are really down to an amazing combined effort from everyone in this room. So give yourself a round of applause. So, almost all of you said that you had two primary expectations: fun, friends, and networking. And I've witnessed this morning that you're already pretty good at that. But then again, I knew that because that's also why you were part of Cycling Without Age in the first place. But then also, you wanted to share experiences. And I've also already seen a lot of great experiences being shared in this room. And sharing experiences is particularly dear to me because I've always worked with one particular principle called bright spots. Any of you know of that concept, of bright spots? So it really means that the best way to improve is to identify what is already working really well, rather than always trying to fix the broken. So it kind of changes the whole perspective. So what I will encourage you to do over the next 3 days is to look for the bright spots. Find the bright spots in things that you hear about, that you listen to on stage, and then see how that could be applied in your local context. And also share as many great experiences as you have around to people that you are seated next to. We'll be doing lots of little activities as well, so make sure that you speak to a lot of different people as well. And we even have a way to see if we can make that happen on speed. So, from all those, I think there's bright spots coming in there. Yeah, I'm a little late. From all those ideas that we got from everyone in this room and beyond that as well, we crafted 6 unique sessions, each with 3 panelists, and all chosen either because they volunteered or because we forced them. No, we asked them. Based on what we know about their work and their experiences. And I'm so excited to hear what they will present. Each session will be structured the same way. We'll have 3 panelists, and they will each give an 8 to 10 minute presentation. And then it's followed by a Q&A. So you can just shoot up your hands immediately if you have any questions. If there aren't any questions immediately, I have a few questions in my back pocket as well. But please also engage in conversations with speakers and panelists in the breaks as well. So that's also one great way of picking up and asking more and learning more about this. We also have 4 keynote speakers. Susan Pinker, who is going to be on just after me. She will present very shortly and talk about her long-standing work and insight into why face-to-face connections matter. And I think also, all of you, I think it's safe to say that we've all been on a trishaw, right? And we know how that face-to-face interaction, how that works, and how that has an amazing effect on people. So Susan is going to talk about that from a wonderful perspective as well. Then we have Arlette Benson on the Danish concept of happiness at work, which is very, very different from, as she will tell you, from job satisfaction. Then we have Martin Ehøj from the Danish National Institute of Public Health on his research into the effects of cycling without age. It's an amazing piece of research that came out in January of this year, which we were crossing our fingers hoping that it would actually prove that what we were doing actually matters. I don't know what I would have done, put a bullet to my head if it'd come out differently. But luckily enough, it turned out that it actually works. And he has some beautiful insights and some anecdotes as well. And then on Sunday, Pernille Busone on her work with Ashoka and new longevity. But of course, that's not all. Oh no, that's not all. Throughout these 3 days, we have scattered all kinds of little activities and surprises for you. Tonight, there's going to be a world premiere of the documentary movie Cycling Without Age by the amazing film brothers Isaac Siegel-Bøttner and Jacob Siegel-Brie. Am I pronouncing it correctly? John, where are you? Okay, thanks. And also the main protagonist of the movie, John Siegel-Bøttner, the father of Isaac and John. And after the movie, Isaac and John will join me on stage in the theater for a discussion about the movie. And the movie is taking place in the Danish National Film Institute called Cinemateket. So we've got the big screen in there. And it's being shown also for a different audience at 5:30 in the afternoon. And we're going to be on there at 7 o'clock. So I really look forward to it. I've been given a little sneak preview, and I absolutely love it. After the movie, we'll head out to Refn Street Food. I know that there is a little bit of rain forecast, but do we care about rain? We don't care about rain, do we? Just make sure you wear proper gear, right? You don't have to be, I know we have Aussies here, and we have people who are not used to this kind of cold drizzle, but it actually won't kill you, Karen. The plan is that we all make our own way to the cinema and to Refn by bicycle. But there's also public transportation, including the amazing harbor bus, which you may have seen. These are the yellow water buses that are part of the public transportation transit system, and has a port of call right at Refn Street Food. So you can go there by boat as well. If you have any questions about getting around, or any questions at all, you can just ask the crew from Cycling Without Age in Copenhagen. We are all the ones with the black T-shirts on. And actually, I would love to just invite the project crew on stage. Uline, Shamila, Domenica, where are you? Emily? Yeah. There they are. Uline, Emily, Shamila, Domenica. And I would also you guys have absolutely killed it, It's been amazing to see, and, we were here a little late last night, weren't we? But I think we've been working relentlessly for a period of time. But I think it really looks like it's all coming together, and yeah. And then I'd also like to invite the rest of the crew. Eric, Christian, Søren, Bodil, come on up here. Sarah. Right, so if you have any questions, any qualms, anything that you want to praise or tell people off, just filter it through us. We can take. Exactly. Yeah. We have some fairly seasoned baristas among us as well, so we can fix everything for you. Okay, thank you so much. The food at this summit. That's the story as well. It comes from Meyer's Food, founded by the Danish food entrepreneur Claus Meyer. I've done some projects with Claus in the past, and when we did our first community ride back in 2013, so actually just over 11 years ago, he donated cinnamon buns to the ride. That's the picture down there. And this is the very first community ride that we did through Copenhagen. And back then, as well, we had absolutely no idea if anyone was going to show up for this, because we only had 5 trishaws. But that was an amazing experience. The food will arrive about 30 minutes before each lunch break, and you can see that in the program as well. So each task is assigned to a member of crew. But we do rely on you all to help, because we have no paid staff for this event. So we didn't hire a caterer in. So we get the food in boxes, then it has to be taken away and put somewhere, and then the boxes will be picked up later on as well. So, so whoever is on, they might do a little shout out, and then what we'll do is, you can just show up to that person if you want to help. We maybe need 5 or 10 people each time. So if you could help out there, that would be fantastic. Sporti, this place that we're in right now, it's called Sporti. It means track 10, because it's an old 1960s railway customs house building. So there are, this hall that you see here and the extension of it is hall 1. And there are 4 more down there with all kinds of different activities. You can find boxing, skating, basketball, calisthenics, parkour, table tennis, painting, and many, many more things. So every single day, there are a lot of people coming and going in this house, aged from 2 years of age to over 100. So it's a great place. There is actually, because it is an old railway customs building, if you go way down at the end, unfortunately the door's locked. I was trying to see if they get them to open it, but there are 2 big railway tracks running right into the building. So in the days, you know, there were sort of tax-free stuff coming in them. Going into these halls, you can see there are paintings that fits the pallet, and then they would go around and clear them, and then they would come out on the other side for trucks. So this is where we are right now. There have been a lot of merchandise going through over the years. Before I end this intro, just a long list of practical things, I have a fun little game for us to play, okay? So please see if you can recall when you first joined Cycling Without Age, right? How many years ago? See if you remember the year and then count how many years is that in total, right? Okay, so I want you all to stand up. All of you stand up. Okay, so for those who joined Cycling Without Age within the last 12 months, please give them a round of applause. And then you sit down. If you joined within the last 12 months, sit down. Rookies. If you joined less than 2 years ago, please sit down. And a round of applause. If you joined less than 3 years ago, sit down. And a round of applause. If you joined less than 4 years ago, and a round of applause. 5 years ago, and a round of applause. 6 years ago, yeah. Some people still standing. 7 years ago. Wow, that's amazing. I could continue, but I think I will just leave you guys hanging in there. You have some amazing people here, and I think we'll give a huge round of applause to those who've been part of this for 8 years or more. Go ahead and sit down. Please, when you know that year when that other photo was taken, the year after was a year that everything just happened. We had 5 trishaws, we had 5 locations, so exactly 10 years ago, and we had perhaps 50 cycle pilots. We had a core team of 5: Søren, who's down there, Dorte, Lærke, one more daughter, and myself. So we were 5 people, we had 5 trishaws, and we had maybe 50 cycle pilots. So what this little exercise that we've just done, what that tells me is that we have an amazing culture and an ability to bring people together and form bonds, which is also why we're here today and the next few days, and that people stay long. It can possibly be explained by my 2 favorite inspirators. My top inspirator is here today and will speak to you very shortly. The 2 others are Angela Lee Duckworth, who's a psychologist, and she talks about the strongest predictors for success being grit, so courage and resolve and strength of character. And Simon Sinek, you may have heard of him, who talks about culture and purpose being the key to success of an organization. And I think if we listen to those 2 clever people, I think we may find some reasons why there are so many people who join and so many people who also stay. I hear a lot of people say, people join as pilots, but then they leave again. But you can also choose to look at all the people who stay for a long time and who are the ones who carry the culture forward. When I first started Cycling Without Age in 2012, I had this idea that I wanted to create an initiative, and I had absolutely no ambitions about more than just a handful of trishaws, where people would be brought together by shared values. And so I came up with 3 guiding principles: generosity, storytelling, and relationships. And with the core team, the year after, we added slowness and without age, mainly because Søren was always riding too fast. We've since managed to get him to slow down. And the astonishing thing about shared values is that when we have a common dream, like a grand narrative, like this one, should be coming. There it is. When we have that, we need far fewer control mechanisms. Trust is built into the fabric of our organization. And we're actually more like a movement than a traditional NGO. Today we have chapters in over 40 countries and many more starting up. We have close to 3,500 active chapters. We have over 5,000 trishaws in operation, 1,000 times more than we had 10 years ago. And we're close to 40,000 people engaged in Cycling Without Age in some shape or form. Yeps. So Oline, Emily, Dominica, Shamila, and I have been working to create a world map over there. This is created for this particular summit. And we do apologize if there are certain parts of the world that look like they're a little bit further away from the rest of the world. Australia. We just wanted to give you guys some space. So this is a work in progress, but we want you guys, we've put on a lot of dots over there, but we put them on for those who aren't here today. So there are some legends over there, there are some little stickers, so please go ahead and put your own on. Add also enrich it with how you're funded, how you operate, and so on, so that we have a map that will show that. And we're going to be using that on Sunday. The reason why it's still incomplete, and I can't give you exact numbers as well, is that we operate as a holacracy. And I just have this horrible drawing, and I'm going to show it very briefly, and then I'm going to take it away. I'm never going to talk about it again. But a holacracy is a really fancy word, but it's a system of governance where members of a team or a business form autonomous and yet symbiotic teams to accomplish tasks and goals, which is very different from a hierarchy. So we distribute decision-making authority among the team members. I'm not saying it necessarily works like that everywhere, because by the very virtue of being a holacracy, nobody is going around policing how it works. But that's the whole idea. I believe that trust breeds trust. And I try to spread that idea wherever I go and talk to people in Cycling Without Age. But in order for trust to flourish, we need to know each other. And I know that you've all come here to network and talk to like-minded people. And I hope that will also just reinforce the trust that we have. So this is also why we will now have our first little icebreaker. And I'd like to welcome Emily and Dominica on stage again, because they have the little icebreaker. Do you all have that little program folder that you got when you checked in? Okay.
Hello all. So exciting to finally be here with you. We've been planning this for what feels like forever. So just to kick things off and get people chatting, we made a little bingo sheet, which you can see in your pamphlet on like the first page when you open it up. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, so if you guys just want to chat amongst yourself, and there's little prompts on it, and you have to find someone who's done it. For example, one of them I think is like, have you run a marathon before? So you have to find someone who's done that, and you try and cross it off until you get bingo. So, yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy.
So we'll be back here in 10 minutes. Way, we have a bingo! Fantastic. No more networking for you then. Okay, please have a seat. Please see if you can find your seats. while you're finding your seat, I just have a few practical things. When you checked in, you had to sign up for the Sunday workshops. Did anybody not notice that? On the wall out in the entrance. And also for tomorrow's ride to Drauer. Drauer. Say that with me. Drauer. Drauer. That's where we're going. It's like on that picture here. It's a little warmer out there now than on this picture. So please sign up for one of the 4 groups. And just to be clear, it says the fast group. Of course, it doesn't mean that it's fast. It just means that it's not as slow as the slower groups. After all, we do have principles, right? So I want to thank you all for being here today. That also goes for all of you who are watching this via Facebook live stream. I also want to express my gratitude to each and every pilot and passenger who is part of this initiative anywhere in the world. And actually also to all of those who always cheer us on. And there are a lot of them out there, and I think you all know who they are. Thank you so much. And there are some people who can't be with us in this room today, but they have sent us a small greeting. The first one is an extraordinary person called Dennis Kange.
Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Dennis Azakange, a proud affiliate of Cycling Without Age, Lagos, Nigeria chapter. I am delighted to be associated with a global community of change makers, positive impact makers using cycling. Cycling Without Age has made a lot of positive impact in my community, taking elderly people, senior citizens in a ride outdoors that gives them joy, taking children who are suffering from cerebral palsy outside, who would ordinarily not have the opportunity to ride on a bicycle, taking them outside to experience cycling outdoors thanks to Cycling Without Age. I want to use this opportunity to say a big kudos to the great man Ole Kassow, who came up with this initiative, and I never knew that would come to my community here in Nigeria. We look forward to making more impact, look forward to getting more tri-shores, look forward to taking more people outdoors who cannot ride to experience the beauty of that breeze in their air, share stories and talk a lot of beautiful things. It's a wonderful, it's a noble cause which I'm very, very proud to be associated. I miss you all. I will have been there with you physically, but we worked so hard to get my visa, which was denied the last hour. And I look forward to a great, to joining you in the next summit. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and I'm happy to join you next time. Bye-bye.
So Dennis was signed up for this summit, but for some reason he wasn't granted a visa entry to Denmark. I'm really sorry that he can't join us today. Because I think his presence is really important. And the reason is equity, fairness and justice. The Global South has been excluded for far too long. But over the past 2 years, we've helped Cycling Without Age chapters get started in Nigeria and Mali and Morocco. I don't blame the Danish embassy in Nigeria for rejecting Dennis's visa application. They're just administering the current rules and legislation. But I do blame a broken system, which excludes good people like Dennis from being part of an important event like this. Another important person we're missing today is Clara. Clara Clark from Ireland. Clara is looking after her 6th husband, Charles, who is also a long-time part of Cycling Without Age. And here's a picture of Clara at the summit in June 2017. And here's a little greeting from Clara. I hope. have no idea why she's not talking, but there is sound. And the last video greeting is from Pernille Busone, who will arrive back in Copenhagen tonight and will be joining us tomorrow. She's at another summit hosted by Ashoka in Madrid today, where she gave a presentation yesterday, which she will give to us on Sunday. And the topic is new longevity and how we work to change the underlying systems that are causing social isolation and loneliness. Here's a little video from her.
Hi everybody, welcome to Copenhagen and thank you so much for participating in the summit. I can't wait to meet you all tomorrow. I am in Madrid thanks to Ashoka. And why are we here? This is Olga from Ashoka. Who are you and what are we doing? And what do you want to say?
Hello everyone, welcome to Copenhagen. We are here to figure out the ways how to transform Cycling Without Age into a community that is developing even more meaningful, deeper relationships in communities around the world, and thus making this world a better place.
Thank you so much, Olga. And Inês from Kassow do Impacto, Lisboa. What are you all about? What are you doing here? What are you thinking?
Hello, I love the theme of longevity, and Margarida from Pedalar Sociedade is also linked with Casa do Impacto. So, hello everyone, hello Margarida, and have a great time there.
Ciao!
See you.
And now something completely unrelated, but it's something that I feel a strong urge to address. So I have worked as a change maker or a social entrepreneur for the best part of 20 years now. And doing what I do is definitely exceptionally gratifying. And I think you'll all agree that the feeling of having purpose is important to our quality of life. I came to the conclusion years ago that I simply cannot have a job that doesn't have purpose in it. Yet, so many jobs around the world don't have purpose. And later today, you'll hear Alette Benson talk about happiness at work, and she'll teach you a special Danish word that we have for that very concept. And yet, and I see if I could find a picture somewhere where I am actually not looking happy. I experienced the people who work in the non-profit world, doing charitable work, making a difference in any field, experience burnout. If you're passionate about something, it's easy to get consumed and set aside other basic needs. I was very close to a burnout a couple years ago, and if it hadn't been for my family and colleagues, it could have ended up really badly. Luckily, it didn't, and I'm now much better at looking after myself. But I have witnessed great people in the Cycling Without Age community who have burned out and who have had to completely reset their lives. They're okay now, but I think it's important that we acknowledge all the pitfalls and learn how to spot looming burnouts with our CWA friends. Be there for them. listen to them, and relieve them if you can. Okay. Why is the bike such a brilliant invention? I think we all know why. Well, it was invented just over 200 years ago in Germany as a push bike. And now I'd like to invite you on a little journey with me, one that I hope you will carry with you for the rest of the summit. So, some of you may have done it before, but I want you to do it anyway. I want you all to close your eyes. And then I want you all to join me in a time machine that I have parked just outside. So close your eyes. And then we walk into the time machine, and I'm sitting there. It's a round time machine, and we can all sit on the perimeter of the time machine. It's very shiny and sparkling, and I turn the dial, and now we travel back in time, and we travel back in time to the day that you each got your first bicycle. So see if you can recall when you got your first bicycle. Maybe you were 3 years old, maybe you were 5 or 10, maybe you were a teenager. But think about that day. And now we've landed, and I open the door, and you walk outside. And there in front of you is your first bicycle. So you can probably recall what color it was and the size of it. So I want you each to walk up to your bike and just ring the bell. See if you can recall the sound of the bell. And hold a handlebar. And now I want you to get up on the bike, and you start riding around, maybe the backyard or the garden, and you ride into the street. And now as you ride, you get transformed into a young teenager. And you're riding with your friends down the street. And as you're riding down the street, smiling and laughing, you're turning right into the forest. There's a forest path, and you're cycling in there. There's a slight breeze, the sun is shining, and you're heading down that path. And as you're heading down that path, I want you all to see if you can come up with one word that describes the feeling that you have right now. What is that one word that describes the feeling you have right now as you're riding down that path with your friends? And you continue riding down, and then you turn around, and you go back out of the forest. You're back on your home street, and you're riding back into your backyard or your garden, and you park your bike, and you take a few steps back and look at it. You turn around, I walk into the time machine, and there we all are. I turn the switch, and now we're back to here at Sportsy. Okay, so I want you all to reconnect as well with that word that you had. So, can I get some? Freedom. Okay, how? Joy. Alive. Independence. How many people thought of freedom? Freedom, joy, happiness, excitement, alive. Those are the words that are always there. I've done this exercise perhaps 100 times with people ranging from kindergarten kids to people over the age of 100. And the results are remarkably always the same. It is freedom. That's what we lose when we can no longer ride a bike. That bike that means so much to us. We don't just lose the ability to ride a bike, we lose our freedom. So that is when mobility becomes something on which we rely on other people for. So before I finish, I want to tell you how happy it makes me that so many people with reduced mobility, whether because of old age or a physical handicap like my own dad, can rely on to reconnect with their local community. I feel that this year, 10 years after our first growth spurt, we will take another quantum leap and jointly make this world a better place. I see so many amazing things happen in our community, and there is a lot more to come. So 10 months ago, I was approached by a film instructor called Steve Goldblum, who's been working with PBS in the United States for several years, and he's produced over 600 programs. He had this idea that he would produce an interview series about cycling without age to be shown on national television and online. And I obviously thought it sounded like a fantastic idea, but I did not think that that would ever happen. But then 4 months ago, he called me and said that PBS had agreed to fund it. And last week, we shot the last of 8 episodes. And it was done here in Copenhagen. 6 had already been shot in the US, and 1 in Barcelona. And I think maybe we have a picture here somewhere. Maybe not. So happy face. Okay. The series is called Joyride, and it will start to air from September. I spoke with Steve yesterday, and he agreed to let me show a small clip from an episode shot in Los Angeles. Each episode follows a special passenger, and in this episode, it's Rodney Chow, who's 95. Enjoy. I'm just going to show you a few minutes of it, because otherwise we're going to be running late. But we can put it on later on, and you can see the full 13 minutes of this. But this will give you an idea of what is to come. I think this does the same thing again, where it doesn't take both tracks of sound. So I think we can't hear Rodney. It's amazing. So we'll show it later on, so you can go and enjoy the video as well. Okay. Now it's time to saddle up. Before we take a short 10-minute break, and we'll join, please be punctual. For Susan Pinker's talk at 10:30. I just want to thank the sponsors that we have for this event. There's an organization called Cities for Better Health. They have an exhibition out there. You can go and see what they do. We have Copenhagen Cycles selling the trishaws. And then we have Nihola, which is one of the producers. And Nihola, actually, they are the ones who sponsored Dennis Kange, who's unfortunately not coming with us here today. So. But Nils Holme Larsen from Nihola is going to be joining us tomorrow with a brand new trishaw, which is a combined wheelchair bike and a trishaw that he will ride for the full length of the trip. So you can all get to see it and try it out. Okay, so a short 5-minute break.